Hello, wonderful audience. This is me, Maryam Zulfiqar TrainingWali, working as Vice Principal at Rehan School Online Academy and Facilitator at Rehan AI Teachers Institute Teacher Training Bootcamp for 2 months. I welcome to all of you in my podcast show named as the Trainers Podcast. You guys can watch me live on my Facebook and recorded session you can watch on LinkedIn and LinkedIn and YouTube too. Today, I have a very special guest in my studio, and let me introduce about him. It's been a year, and we are connecting. So I'm so happy that he accepted my invitation, and he's a part of my podcast series. We are honored to welcome a distinguished guest, Mr. Nilesh Jain, a high profile podcast guest strategist. He specialized in helping entrepreneurs and coaches expand their reach and influence through his done for you podcast services. So, first of all, I welcome to you in my studio. Thank you so very much for accepting this invitation. Uh, Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me to the podcast.
Okay, Mr. Nilesh, I just request you to introduce yourself about you, where are you, and what are you doing right now these days?
Okay, so I'm podcast coach, and we also provide done for you podcast services. And these days, I'm always helping my clients to launch their podcast. You are already doing your podcast, so might be I can help in another way of your. But I'll mostly help my clients to launch their podcast, invite a high profile guest on their podcast, and how they can build their credibility, authority, and connection using the power of interview podcast. That's what I mostly do, and that is the big thing that I help with my clients, and this is what I work on these days.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Uh, these days, this podcasting industry is growing so fast and rapidly. I mean, lots of the podcasters are in the this YouTubing or this social media platform we are seeing on day-to-day basis. So, what actually instigates you? You have to start your journey as podcaster.
So it is in 2021 where I got the idea to start podcast. Nowadays it is a trend, but I got the idea in 2020 itself. Like, hey, Nilesh, that is from a book called Dot Com Secret by Russell Brunson, and that book gave me the idea of that you can launch, become a reporter, act as a reporter, and learn from other experts and become the expert in your industry. So that high idea triggered in my mind, and that's where I take initiative, that's where I take action. And just because of that one thing, today I am able to host interview with a lot of industry leaders, a lot of experts. And yeah, this is the quite journey. That's how the idea integrate in my mind, like, hey, this is something I wanted to do, and that's how I am doing it right now. Yeah.
That's great. Uh, I mean, your inspiration is that book, which it actually motivates you. You have to start it. Nice. The one thing I just want to make it clear for my audience and myself is it. How did you turn your journey to a very professional podcaster and interviewing the entrepreneurs and helping them to get the profits through this podcasting industry?
How did I enter into the podcasting industry, you mean? What is your question? I think I missed something here.
Okay, I asked to you, how did you channelize your podcast into a profit generator podcaster industry? Like when
Okay.
you started, it's a different thing. Then how you channelize it?
Okay. So there's many ways to monetize your podcast. There's not just a sponsorship ads that you can depend on. So there's many ways, and one big way I have with my podcast is I after my podcast I have my podcast services, which is where I make big money, right? So the guest who is coming on my podcast, and that's where I build, because of podcast you build a good relationship with your clients, or future clients with your guest. And when the relationship is there, you ask them if there's anything I can help you with. And if they are really in help, they just ask like, oh, we were looking this kind of help, and if I have that one solution for them, this is where the money lies, from the podcast itself. Then other thing is, you can also do some collaboration with the guest, like, in the collaboration you can have something like, okay, I'll promote your stuff, you can promote my stuff, and we can have some 50-50 or commission, whatever the thing that you can keep in mind. That's another way where you can make money. Then you can also have some kind of a, affiliate system, which is the same as a collaboration system. So suppose somebody don't want to promote, but I have a product, and right now whoever is watching this podcast can join my product, but through your link, in the sense of, I'll give you an affiliate link of my product, and you can share that affiliate link the below the video, below the podcast, and the people who wanted to join, they will join it, and you are going to get as a affiliate commission, affiliate income. So this is another way where you can make money. That's how you can make it a lot of money from podcast itself. But the big thing I wanted to tell all the listeners who is watching right now, it is not quick rich scheme. It is not a quick rich scheme that you can think of like, hey, suddenly I will start my podcast and I'll make money. No, you have to be patient enough, you have to be in the game, you have to be consistent enough. I'm doing this podcast since 2021. I got the idea in 2020, and I started my podcast in 2021. I wasted my 10 months just because of my own limiting belief, all my thoughts and doubt. But it's not like I started my podcast in 2021 and I become rich. I'm still on my process. That is all the game of being consistent, how much consistent you can be with your podcast. This is the point. So if you will ever going to think that I'll start my podcast and I'll be rich next day, I'll suggest don't start. That's it from
Okay,
me.
that's a very great point you highlighted it, because lots of the people thinks that we started anything and within a days we'll be a millionaire or got lots of the money and something like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it takes time and you have to be very patient about it. As you mentioned in your interview, you can start podcasting with zero investment. How is it possible for anybody who wants to start it as a beginner?
I think you started as a beginner, Mariam. Is
Yeah,
that right?
I started as a beginner. Exactly. I'm just a baby right now in this podcasting.
This is the same thing that other people have to do. As a beginner, what you need to see is, first thing, why do you wanted to start the podcast? Have a clarity with your why. Like, what is the big reason behind you starting podcast? Then second is, when you're starting out, you can use all the free tools. Right now, you are using StreamYard, which is a free. You just need to connect it with your Facebook, and Facebook is also free. You don't need to pay anything to say Facebook. So what you need is a clear why, that why I wanted to start my podcast. Then guest people like you, or people who is just one or two step ahead than you. So Mariam, you reach out to me because you find like I am somewhere one or two step ahead, or whatever in your mind, I don't know. But you feel like, okay, Nilesh is someone who is expert in XYZ thing, let me have him on my podcast. Same other people need to do. As a beginner, have a clarity with your why. Why do you wanted to start your podcast? Use a free tools like StreamYard. Do research about a guest, or you don't need to invite high profile guest on the first episode. You have to prepare yourself before you reaching out to the high profile. You are not going to invite big person on the day one of your podcast, and you are going to do it. You are going to messed it up, right? So this is what I wanted to tell. With zero investment, you can start your podcasting using StreamYard, even using Zoom allow 40-minute free to think. So, but yeah, if you wanted to use Zoom, you can use Zoom. StreamYard is there, which is also free. All you need to do is just sign up on these platforms, connect it with your Facebook account, YouTube account, wherever you wanted to do live stream, and that's how you can begin. Just invite some of the near and dear people to you who knows you and you feel that they can add value when you invite them, and your podcast is ready. First 10 episode you can do very easily, for then you need to go deeper in the process.
And yes, it's really true. I have done 120 podcasts, and then I got the time of Mr. Nilesh Jain, and I'm doing it. So thank you so very much for it. But yes, it takes time. You need to polish your skills yourself, and then you can ask such an mind blowing podcaster who is actually providing services a lot. Thank you so
Yeah.
very much, sir. Once again. My next question is to you. How do you help entrepreneurs to get profit through this podcasting skills?
How do I help my clients, you mean to say? So see, I'll help my clients to launch their podcast, number one, and then I teach them the process of how they can launch, how they can build a connection with some of the industry leaders, and as per that connection, how and what kind of product they can give it to their guest, so which can help them to make revenue. And the big thing where I help my clients is I'm teaching how they can really invite the industry leaders for their podcast, high profile guests for their podcast, because this is where the big thing is, and this is one of my USP. I can see that the process I have followed, called as a known, like, and trust factor, that the 3-step key LT framework I teach to my clients, and how to invite high profile guests, how to use their credibility to build their as a host credibility, then how they can have that kind of guest on their podcast, right? So this is how I help my clients. That's the way where I'll help my clients. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. But Mr. Nilesh, don't you think so? This is the trending thing that you already had mentioned in my interview, one of my questions answer. But right now, lots of the people, when we say that the thing is going in the trending, we just follow the trends, but we don't have any why. So, what you suggest those kind of the people who just are following the trends, not they have a clear why?
See, the train comes and goes. The mostly important thing is trend will come and go. If you are doing something with the trend and keeping it with the trend is good. If you are just doing it for the sake of trend and you are stopping it at one point of time, that's not something will help you. So one of my mentors always say, when this one thing is that it's not about who is present or active right now, it's about who will be there for after 10 years, who will be there after 10 years. That is what important. There most of the time a lot of things get viral because of a trending thing, but that trend and viral thing end. Podcasting is not a trend. Podcasting was there, podcasting will be there, and podcasting is there. So again reframing it, podcasting was there, podcasting is there, and podcasting will be there. Podcasting was there means, if you know the book called Think and Grow Rich, this book come from the interviews. Author did interview with all the entrepreneurs, and then he turned all the stories into a book. Think and Grow Rich book comes very I don't know when exactly it come, but it maybe 100 years or more than that, I don't know exactly. But that is a legacy that is right now there, and suddenly it become a trend in entire world, but it was there since decades, and it will be there since decade. How you actually take it is matters the most, because everybody will not be stick with the trend. So this is my answer.
Exactly. Trend shifts, and we need to be consistent. And if we want to be a very good podcaster, that's good. Which three things you suggest to beginners who wants to start their career as a podcaster?
Three things I suggest if somebody wants to start their career as a podcaster. Number one is decide why do you wanted to start podcast. Then second thing is If you are starting your podcast, stick with it. At least for decide it in your mind, like at least you will be stick it with for 3 to 5 years. If you don't have this in your mind, please don't start. Yeah, you can make changes, you can improve it, but at least have this one thing in your mind, like at least I will be stick with the 3 to 5 years down the line, because every project will take time. It's not like 1 year 1 day game, it's not. Then the third thing is, um, when you are starting, having clarity with your why, then you are keeping that clarity in your mind, like okay, I will be stick with this one thing for this much of time. The third important thing I'll recommend is be consistent. When I'm saying 3 to 5 years, it's not like one episode in a year. It's not like that. It's consistent, which is, if you decide to do 2 episode in a month, at least 2 episode in a month need to be there. If you don't have a 2 episode in a month, nothing am I going to make sense at all. So first, why? Second, long term plan. Third, consistency. This is the three thing I'll suggest. Other than that, everything is kind of motivation that I can suggest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good to know about these things. But we heard all the success stories and all the success we just go through from your profiles and social media. But what are actually the challenges you faced throughout this podcast journey? We need to know about it, because all the time we just see the good side of any successful person. So we need to know about the challenges. What are the challenges will be any podcaster's journey?
Uh, See, for me, the challenges was a communication skill, because when I started my podcast journey, my communication, English communication was not that good, and I am inviting English speakers only from international point guest. So for me, I have to improve my English. Then some other thing was, uh, at initial I don't know what to sell, how to sell. So yeah, this is one of the uh, challenge I can say. If I was get to know about this one thing at initial stage of my podcast journey, that you can also give offer to your guest, you can also make money from your guest itself. That would be really a game changing thing for me. So that is not exactly a challenge I can say, but that is a not clarity, not having a clarity, like I can also get revenue from my guest itself. So this is the two thing I can suggest. And most important thing, I didn't face so many challenges just because I have a mentor. I got a mentor of podcasting who is actually teaching me one on one, who is providing coaching to me one on one. So this is the big beneficial that I got, uh, because I got that one-on-one mentorship, and he guided me on every step. Like you can improve it, you can improve that. So not such challenges from my personal experience, but from my client's point of view, I can give you that this fear a lot. They have a self doubt. They always thought in their mind like, hey, I if I invite this guest, how will I speak, how will I deliver? This is one of the thing. And yes, certainly I also got one story of my own, that at one point of time I have invited one of the very well known industry leader on my podcast. And that point of time, my heartbeat was so fast, and it clearly visible in the podcast itself. And one of my friend who's in podcasting has said, Nilesh, today you messed it up, today you were not able to do the best. But at first 10-15 minutes, I'm so much in worries, like how will make it possible. But after 15 minutes I'm on track. So such kind of things was also there with me, that when I see that, oh, this person is so successful, this person is very much industry leader, how will I do it? So that point of time I faced that one challenge, and yeah, but over the period of time I have overcome it, and I'm not facing that kind of challenges right now. So this is the kind of things happen. Yeah.
So good to know your other side as well, because I already saw you in a very cool and calm all the podcasts and the reels. So I always wondering how you cope up these kind of the pressure whenever we have it, because at the start of this interview I was so nervous. I don't know how I have to start it, because such a mind blowing podcast over here. So how I have to go for it. So see, it means we all have the same thing when we are just starting and going through up.
Yeah,
So thank you
that's
so very much. Um, Mr. Nilesh, as you explained that you just started to invite the foreigners, the English podcaster, you started your journey. At the start, how it was challenging to you to invite such guests in at your podcast? Any challenge regarding their response rate, regarding their your invitation, your communication?
not exactly that was the thing. From my own point of view, I have a self doubt. Like if I invite this, how will I manage it? But because as I said, like I got a mentor who teach me the process, that you need to follow this framework and you will easily able to invite the guest. So that's the framework I have followed. And more or less, as I said, like for the first 10 episode, I'm not going to the big guest. I'm just doing the people who is just one or two step ahead than me, and that's what I begin, that's where I started. So this is also you can keep in mind, like if you are starting it out, instead of going on so big, you can have some of the people who is one or two step ahead than you, and they know you as well. So it is very easy for you to be in the momentum, and when you are in the momentum, you can easily have a big guest on your show. The thing is, for me, I didn't face the challenges to invite big guests, but my own doubt was that how will I manage it, how will I talk with them, how will I ask them, all sort of kind of things was in my mind. So that is the kind of thing I can say, but not reaching out was a problem, because I got a framework from my mentor that you need to follow this script and you will easily able to invite everyone and anyone. So yeah, just self belief or self doubt was the big problem, I can say. Otherwise, not such other thing. And response rate was very high. Response rate
Wow.
was very high because I following that framework called KLT. KLT is the name given by me, but because I have made some improvement, so known, like, and trust is a KLT stand for, right? And that is the
Got it,
framework.
got it.
Yeah.
uh, for me personally, I also want to interview the foreigners. I want to actually explore their things and the cultures that but I'm actually facing the challenges regarding the reaching. How you suggest me what I am missing? It's kind of the things I need to go for.
First you need to build as I said, known, like, and trust. So first you need to build yourself as a known person in front of them. Whatever the person you wanted to invite from the international, you need to build yourself as a known person in front of them. How you can do it? You can be consistent with them, you can engage with them, you can drop comment on their post, add on some values. Then like is where you can add on some more values to become a likable person. Like you can also mention like how they are making an impact in your life. You can like say, like just now you tell me like you have some watch some of my podcasts, you have watched some of my videos. You can mention that, hey, to the XYZ international guest whom you wanted to invite, and tell them like how they make impact in your life, how their content make impact in your life. So there's a likability you are able to establish, and when the known and like is there, and you feel that right now is the right time to approach them, to ask them like, I have a podcast and I would love to invite you as a podcast, and this many episodes I have done till now, would love to have you as well. There is a very high chance you can easily get them on your podcast. no problem. And even you already done 120 episodes, so you don't need to worry for asking them. If you are you yourself confident, you can just simply reach out to them and say, hey, I have done 120 episodes and now I would love to invite you as well. Because these people actually see the consistency that you have, nothing else.
Got it, got it. Okay. Um, as I mentioned you that this is my task. I actually want to podcast the foreigners. Does each group matters to invite or convince the guest to be in the show?
I didn't understand that. What do you mean?
I asked you, does age group matters for the guest whom we are inviting for the show?
Which group?
Like if we are having age like 15 years older, 10 years older.
Age, you mean to say age group?
Yeah.
Okay, no, there's no problem. If you feel that, yeah, but one thing you need to understand, who is the right guest for your podcast. Anyone and everyone is not a right guest for your podcast. You need to keep that in mind. You have to figure out, understand who is the right guest for your podcast. That's the only thing. So if you got clarity like who is the right guest for your podcast, easy for you to ask them, invite them, right? Age group and all of this is not matter. You need to I can say the way you set up the customer avatar is the same way you can set up the dream guest avatar for your podcast. Cool.
Okay, that's
Right.
cool.
Hmm.
Lastly, I just asked to you which three things you suggest to all the viewers and me as well who wants to pursue our career as a podcast.
uh, Same thing I will repeat, but might be some new flavor. One is a Number one is a consistency. You have to be consistent enough with your stuff. Until and unless you are not consistent, nothing will work. Second is, I think I didn't mention it yet, and this is something my hook statement, hook line. Leave this statement: until you don't ask, the answer is always no. So you have to ask. You asked me that I wanted to interview you, and I am here right now giving you interview. So you have to ask for every opportunity that you wanted to get in your life. And the third is, just trust on yourself. Don't ever give. The day you give up, the day everything will ends up, because your entire efforts that you have put until now will flourish, will gone away in just one decision of giving up. Whatever the situation, just be in the game, be consistent, and do it as imperfect as you can. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. And thank you so very much for your wonderful time and this podcast series. Thank you so very much once again. I'm so honored to have you in my podcast. And thank you, audience, who are watching us live on my Facebook, named as Maryam Zulfiqar TrainingWali. I'll be right back with another amazing guest as I had today, Nilesh Jain. And till then, take good care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.